So it says it's, I mean, it'll tell us if we're on the right bat channel or not. I sorry if we're late here, everybody, if anybody's here with us. Same. I have a little Mercury retrograde issues going on, I think. I saw that somebody put that on Facebook there. I don't know, somebody I followed social. I was like, no, I never used to believe in it, Amanda, until I met you. And then I got pointed out. And then like now it's like I definitely believe in it. It's like that's my nemesis game. The Mercury
You
retrograde.
can't mess with the stars, Jules. You're never going to win that battle.
Never gonna win it. Gabe doesn't have his nemesis today. Tom's out today. Tom's dealing with his dog, which I hope everything is okay with that. And Andrea's on sales. Sales conference,
Right.
I think.
Sales conferences.
Sales conferences.
He's got like
So,
a few of them.
Yeah. So it's the Gabe and Amanda show today. Woohoo! So I can talk about some things. Most of the stuff I'm reading though, although we should Gabe talk about the farewell tour again, because I was at the airport and saw every airport I went to saw giant displays of it.
Oh, good.
It was awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, giant displays. It was very cool. I love that book. I thought it's a good, solid.
Good, solid, fun, takes you away.
Yeah.
Got a lot of relevant stuff going on.
Yeah, it was really good.
Really good.
All right. Well, I was late, but we're probably gonna be done early tonight. But anyways, so Gabe, you want to go first?
I will go with an old favorite. That's not what I want. I'm gonna go with Small Mercies by Dennis Lehane.
Yeah.
So this is Dennis Lehane. I hate to say this, but at the peak of his powers, the top of his game.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think Dennis Lehane needs to be writing. He's gone off and done some historicals in Boston that are a little more historical in their nature. Big, more epic, larger incidents of history, or particular incidents in history that he writes these big fat books about. But so he's done a number of things, but this is right back to Mystic River. This is right back, I think, to where he's really playing to his strengths here. The language in this book, it just pops, man. You're just reading it and you're turning the pages and you're back in the 1970s and you got your flares on and you got your big white belt on and your big fat watch strap on. It's all about, so we're back on the outskirts of Boston in the mid 70s. Busing is the issue. And everybody in town is up in arms about busing. So that racist element of Boston really comes out here, what it was like in the 70s in the middle of the busing situation. So I lived through it. It doesn't feel like it's history, but that was quite a while ago. I was born closer to World War II than we are to busing in the 70s by like twice as much or more. So I was around and I remember the battles and not too much, even in a place like LA, but you heard about, like parents were just up in arms, and the color lines came out again. And right after civil rights, we thought we were over the edge on civil rights. And then we're back into this with the busing thing. But it is something happens, there's drama, and there's familial revenge, and it is a really tense, taut narrative with, like I said, the language just bounces off the pages. He'll keep you're just turning pages and keeping up. And like I said, it's a good old-fashioned telling, but a real strong effort, I think, from Dennis.
I love Dennis Lehane, and I love his historicals too, because I think he does a really good job with those too. But nobody does do some of these issue-driven books better than him.
Right. And this, I think, is kind of really the way he does it here is the best way for him.
Yes.
That I've seen that. It's just the most commercial because it's super readable.
Yeah.
It's like you pick it up and anybody, a reluctant reader, you just want pace, you got pace.
Yeah.
You want to dig deeper, you can dig deeper.
Yeah.
It's one of those really good books. It'll be a good book club book, but it's also the airplane book.
Yeah, I love Dennis Lehane. I love everything you write, so I might be a good candidate. Okay, so Darcy's on here and says that so Gabe is here. She thought she'd mentioned that she started Coronation Year. So is that yours?
Which one's Coronation Year?
Coronation Year? I don't know. You put it off the PDF now.
I have to like,
It's about the Queen.
oh, it's the paperback original? Jennifer Rubin
You
She's listening it to on Libro.
Right.
Jennifer Robson.
Robson? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, yeah, she's Jennifer Robson's one of these authors that you look at the books that she does, you know, and you're kind of like, who's gonna read, you know, who's the audience? But she's a real solid seller.
Yeah.
People gravitate. I mean, they just know where to go. They go get her. It's one of those books that doesn't go in very big early on, her first books. But I think something relevant. Yeah, we've got a whole series of actually at Harper, a whole series of coronation related books.
I know it's going to be fun watching this all come up.
The Gown was one of those Jennifer's previous books.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, now I'm remembering who it is.
And it's
Okay.
you just think that these paperback originals and they're just really, really readable. They're really consumable and they're really a lot of fun. We did really, really well with the Gown.
Yep. Oh,
So
that's
she
good.
always surprises. Yeah, some of these books I was telling somebody because I'm presenting books that I sold like last fall.
Mhm.
And I've sold the entire summer list. And I am finishing the winter list with these books, and I've sold the entire summer list, and and I'm ready to go out for the fall list. So it's kind of like,
It's like,
like
which,
3,000
who, what,
2,900 books in my head right now. It's like, which way is it? Which way's up?
who is that? And yes, Beth, it is. I did mention Mercury in retrograde. So, and as I was saying, it's like I'm not sure I believed it before, but I'm a firm believer now.
Sure is.
I am well on that track. Thank you very much.
I feel like I was actually just telling our book buyer Mallory this. People who are skeptical about astrology, the couple of things that tend to make them go, oh, maybe there is something to it, is thinking about the moon and how it affects us and the tides and everything. And then Mercury retrograde, because it really does seem like communication breakdowns, technology breakdowns happen. But on the flip side, it's also supposed to be a good time for activities that start with so reorganize, rethink, redo.
Re-sleep. That's kind of what I want to do right now.
Recharge.
There you go. Okay. Nap
Relax.
Relax. Okay. There you go. I'm okay with that. All right, Amanda, what do you got for us today?
Okay. This comes out tomorrow. It's called Monsters, A Fan's Dilemma. And the author published a viral Paris Review essay called What Do We Do with the Art of Monstrous Men? So the premise of this book is it's a series of essays about what we do when artists and creators of brilliant art also do awful things in their personal lives. So she starts talking about, the very first page is about Roman Polanski, who raped a 13-year-old apparently. And that's how she kind of started thinking about this. So it's an investigation of all sorts of people: Hemingway, Polanski, Woody Allen, Miles Davis, Picasso, who is actually, this is a picture of Picasso on the cover. And it's but it's very engagingly written, and I think it's something that a lot of people think about, especially these days. I think a lot of people are trying to be more conscientious, ethical consumers, and they don't necessarily want, but also you want to be an ethical person, but also want to be someone who is well versed in the great art of our time. So it's super interesting. And
sometimes I want to listen to Off the Wall, you know. It's just kind of like when I throw on Michael Jackson.
I know. I the last time I did I think it was Billie Jean at karaoke, came off the stage and someone was like, yeah, that was ballsy.
A little
And I
cringe.
was like, oh, and I haven't done it again.
Yeah, I know.
But it is. It's. Oh, I don't know. And that's a. I'd be. I mean, I might need to read that because I just don't know if there's a way to reconcile it. I mean, I think that it's. I don't know because
I
should
mean-
those people have gotten a voice and gotten that kind of popularity in the first place, they may not
mean-
even have been in the lexicon.
I know, but what are you gonna, you're gonna erase like T.S. Eliot from the landscape of literature? I mean, it's like you can't, and he was
No,
a he
no,
was
but
one
my
against
point, but
anti-Semite,
I
you
think
know?
my point to it is that should he have been given that platform in the first place? Was he always? Were these
times-
people always?
Well, back then everybody was an anti-Semite and everybody was a
Yeah.
racist. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
Let me
Different
read
time-
you
different times.
the quotes on the first page here. Who has not asked himself at some time or another, am I a monster? Or is this what it means to be a person?
Ooh.
That's Claire Liz Spector. And then another quote from Shirley Hazard. It is always tempting, of course, to impose one's view rather than to undergo the submission required by art. A submission akin to that of generosity or love. So I think it's very thought-provoking. It's written in short essay form. Very interesting. A
Okay.
fan's
Always.
dilemma.
Yeah, like okay, so let's see. We got some comments coming in. When you see J.K. Rowling now getting a bigger platform start, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. It's a struggle when you love the art but not the artist. It's a tough question. It really is a tough question because it's like I don't know. It's kind of this is going to be like talking politics. I don't know. Can we talk that? Can we talk about that on Tea Time? I don't know. All right, I'll talk. Well, the one that I just want to mention, we hosted him on Friday, was Admiral McRaven, and it's not something that we didn't record it, but do yourself a favor. There are plenty of signed copies of The Wisdom of the Bullfrog. Let me see if I can just pull it up here real quick, just so you can see what the cover is like, and it's just a little short gift book. It goes back to his Make Your Bed. It goes back to your Make Your Bed type of book. It's not the Sea Stories one. He's just so good. And his there it is. So we've got plenty of signed copies. So we've got Father's Day coming up. We have mothers, even leaders that are a mother came up and asked this great question, like, can you apply some of these principles to like raising your kids? And he gave a great answer. It's like basically yes. And then graduation's it would be an amazing graduation gift. So he just has, what it means to be a leader and how to lead people and how leaders need to be able to not just dictate to make everybody do things, but but by example lead and doing, you do the jobs all the way up and down the line. So he's just amazing and I love him. So Admiral McRaven's Wisdom of the Bullfrog, another really great inspirational leadership type of a book that I would highly recommend.
And the bullfrog refers to a Navy SEAL who, I'm trying to remember, I think they've served a certain amount of time.
Well, he told a really great story about having to when he was a Navy SEAL and he thought he was getting, like, the commander called him into the office and he thought he was going to like be assigned to this like really important, save the world task. And I guess on Coronado every year they have a parade and the SEALs have to make a frog float. And so he was put in charge of making the frog float. And he like left there just like completely dejected and bummed and just like, I can't believe I'm going to have to just make, I thought I was really doing. And his direct supervisor, superior said, hey, if this is what the commander needs, this is what he needs, and go make the best damn frog float you know how to make. And it's true. It's just like you think that, things are beneath you, and he is just like, so yeah, he was pretty funny. So what's the
Yeah,
bullfrog mean?
Beth Penny got it. It's the Navy SEAL who's been on active duty the longest, and he was in for 37 years. So
He was an active SEAL for 37. I must have been
Yep.
distracted when he gave that little stat.
yeah, so that's almost 4 decades. That's the book is his leadership wisdom.
Yeah.
Collected
He's-
over that time.
He's a pretty amazing guy. So, all right, let's see. That was me. So who's next?
Gabe.
Is it me again? So Simon Winchester has a new book,
Oh, we love Simon.
Knowing What We Know.
Huh.
And he's always a font of information. There is always something to learn with Simon Winchester, and he makes it really entertaining, and he writes these really interesting, satisfying books. Some of them seem like odd. The book on the topography of the British Isles was kind of like, whoa, who's going to read that? But a lot of people did. So now he's diving into knowledge and learning, and pretty much going through the evolution of the manners in which we have passed information on, from the early oral traditions to cuneiforms, to carvings on stones, to eventually more than into writing scrolls and keeping written documents, to the Gutenberg press, to creation of encyclopedias, and down to this thing that I'd never heard about, the Mundanium. I think that's how you pronounce it, Mundanium, which is in some basement in Belgium. That was sort of an early attempt to I thought it was like a medieval thing, because it was an attempt to, I think, gather like all the knowledge that there was in the world in one place, kind of a thing.
Oh,
But physically. So it's like in Belgium somewhere, kind of forgotten now, that all I got to do is type in, even misspell whatever I want to look at. I don't even know how to spell it. Google brings it up, Not that that happens to me a lot. And down to then bringing us to the present day, and AI and artificial intelligence and Google. And I mean, remember when we used to have a question, we'd sit around dinner, it's like, oh, who was that actor? And they did that movie, what was it? And then somebody would come up with it. And now it's like, well, let me bust out the phone and bust it out. And you don't have to have knowledge anymore. So has the access to all this knowledge created a non-thinking people? Is that what we're going to end up being? Just people who know? And I know a lot of people who are, they just know facts. They can tell you the shooting percentage of somebody. They can tell you all these, they have no real knowledge, but they have facts, and they think that's knowledge. And everybody's like, ooh, Henry knows, it's like, oh, but it's just like statistics. It's just, you just know numbers and facts, but they're not connected to any depth to anything. So are we creating thinkers who are going to be incapable of thinking? So it's a deep dive into the human mind. Again, what is I think, therefore I am enough. That's sort of been since the Enlightenment, the foundation of human knowledge. I think, therefore I am. But does it still hold if I think but don't know? Anyways, real interesting history, gathering amalgam of these various vehicles we've used for passing down knowledge to, the thought of where are we now? And now that you can get a computer to write your term paper.
well, exactly. No, and I mean, what you said, Gabe, it was like, okay, we used to all play Trivia Pursuit, or we used to play those games, right? And then we used to have that. We used to be able to tap into some of that stuff, at least. So for me, it's like, is it age? Am I just getting old and I can't remember that stuff? Could be the case. But I also think we are just like, I think we talked about math before too. It's like relying on the calculator to do everything. When you rely on something else, I don't know if you tap into using that part of your brain enough.
Right.
You're not
scrolling. You're not.
Yeah, you're not. Well, if you're sitting there, I mean, how many times have you sat at a dinner table and somebody will say something and then you'll go, oh, let me Google that, a lot. And we do it a lot. And like you said, too, now bring artificial intelligence into it. And that's good. That scares me more than a lot of stuff has in a while, because I just think it's going to get so hard to detect what's true it's hard enough now when there's so much stuff being thrown at us and sifting through what's fact and what's not. And with AI, I think it's even going to be even worse. Not to bring tea time down or anything, but maybe we should go to Amanda now.
I was talking to someone recently, and they told me they just had an AI rewrite their CV, and it came out like amazing. And a chill went up my spine.
Wait, there are bookstores, Amanda, that use it to write their ads and their marketing for Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, cool. I'm
Oh,
gonna be
yes.
obsolete soon.
Probably knows better than the old bookseller.
It does the whole, like, for writing their ads for, like, that they put into their, like, local newsletter and stuff. I mean, their local news.
Oh,
Yeah, they just put in like some keywords about what they want to talk about, and then they and they do a little bit of obviously they do some, but I was just like, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I guess I should brush up on my CV.
No, I'm thinking you should use it. Save yourself some time.
Oh man. Okay, so
I
here's
didn't
another.
mean to. That came out wrong. I didn't mean.
Well, that's
that,
where
yeah.
that's where
Those
my
are-
worst case scenario brain immediately goes.
No,
I was
that
a little uncomfortable. I was like, wow. That's great.
not what I meant at all. No. I wasn't saying that it was going to be better. I said no. Anyways, no, that's not what I meant. I meant use it to save yourself some time, lady.
Okay, this comes out tomorrow. Here's Cory Doctorow, Red Team Blues. Cory Doctorow is amazing. He's an intellectual. He's a activist. He is a champion for privacy and also for freedom of information. And he's a sci-fi writer. And he's one of those people that you wonder if they sleep because they do so much. And this is his new thriller. It's I'd characterize it as a crypto noir. So the character is the main character is like a forensic accountant kind of guy, and he gets this job that will set him up for the rest of his life, like with way too much money if he gets it done. And he does, but he makes the wrong kinds of enemies and he's suddenly on the run. And even though it's this new kind of private eye sort of character, or not a private eye, but a sort of a detective kind of character, I suppose. It's also kind of it feels like a good old-fashioned noir in that he just wants to retire and maybe get a girlfriend and tool around in his RV that he bought from an aging rock star, and he just wants to relax. He's so which is a trope that you see a lot in a mystery or a thriller, like the detective has done all these jobs and
reluctant detective.
Yeah, they want to just retire to the country and be comfortable, and then they get called out of their retirement because they're the only one who can handle it.
You're pulling it back, man.
So it's very new, but also continuing a fine tradition, and really well written and funny, and it's a lot of fun. So that's Red Team Blues. And I learned this from this book, Red Team and Blue Team. Red Team is like an attacker when it comes to technology, like someone who's trying to, I guess, sort of perpetrate a heist. And Blue Team are defenders, people who are in charge of security and making systems like airtight. So there's a pun here.
He is definitely a brain that is worth listening to. I mean, he was at Winter Institute. He was one of the keynotes at Winter Institute. And he's out there fighting the good fight too on a lot of different levels. For bookstores and for free thinking, and yeah, he's a good guy.
If you want quality content in your feed, you can follow him on Mastodon.
Okay.
Or I think he's still on Twitter too, but Mastodon's probably the more ethical choice these days.
Yeah, I kind of still like watching the dumpster fire that's happening over on Twitter.
Yeah.
Kind of fun to just
Waiting for it all to implode.
Yeah, I just want to be there when it just completely, because it kind of did this week with the whole checkmark thing. Were you following any of that? Where it's like people had their check, they took away all the check marks this week because they want to make people buy them. So then nobody bought them. So they started just giving them back to people to make it seem like they were being bought. So like people like Stephen King got his, and he's like, I didn't buy this, because they didn't want to make it seem like, oh, if Stephen's buying it, then I should buy it.
I should have it.
Yeah. And so like they gave it back to a bunch of people in the hopes that it would seem like, oh yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
It's
mess.
very 5-year-old,
Just cuckoo.
5-year-old
Just-
machinations.
Cuckoo. And that all happened like when the rocket exploded. I mean, it was almost simultaneous when it was like, so anywho. All right, I'm going to talk about an older book because we read it. We just read this for our book club. So, and just want to highlight it because all the stuff that I'm currently reading besides this is coming out so far in the future that it wouldn't be fair to talk about it. So we just read Ordinary Grace. You ever read it, Gabe?
You know, this is one of those authors who I've always wanted. Keeps great reviews. I have never ever picked up a William Kent Kruger book, but everybody tells me he's amazing.
Okay, so that's exactly because the woman that was going to pick this, she said, sorry, I've got a hair on my lip. She said to me, she quizzed me because they try to pick books that I haven't read yet, and they're so funny because they're just like, Julie, we can't pick anything. I said, just pick it. If I've read it, who cares? But this one, I said, I was the same way, Gabe. I was like, I wanted to read This Tender Land. I've always wanted to read something by him. And so I was so glad that she picked it. And it's just, when you get into it, it's a little, I'm just going to be honest, because I'm not a sweet kind of reader. And it's just, it felt like a little bit like Stand By Me, and a little like I felt like Richard Dreyfuss was narrating to me a little bit in the story, just because of the time period. It's set in Minnesota. It was like this small town and the mid 50s, and just what was happening. But then when I really stopped and thought about it, this whole story is told through this 13 or 14-year-old boy's perspective. It was really good, and he won the Edgar for it, for goodness sake. So it's a solid. It's got that mystery element. It's not a huge mystery, but it's got that element to it. And it's just a good story. And it's just one of those good, it keeps you turning the pages and it keeps you going. And yeah, I loved it. And I'm so glad that I read him, because now I know it's just like, yeah, he's solid. Because sometimes it's some people will be popular about something and it's like, no. But
for those of you out there who are fans of his, we have a lot of fans at Warwick's. He does have a new book coming out in September. So
I'm trying to get him to come to San Diego.
Oh, I'll put the link for the book in the comments just so y'all can check it out.
Yeah. So anyway, so he is really, and I follow a little bit of the stuff that he does, and he does just seem like a really nice man too. You know what I mean? It's just one of those, just seems like a good Minnesota, just like salt of the earth kind of guy. So anyways, it was very good. It was very good. It was, so if you haven't read it, I think a lot of people on here may have already read William Kent Kruger, but if you haven't, I would feel confident saying picking this up, or This Tender Land, or his new one that's coming.
What is it about Minnesotans? They're just so great.
Just so nice.
Yeah, and they have great bookstores.
I
Good
know.
bookstores, good book community, always in Minnesota.
Really good book community.
Good food, good beer.
Yeah. I don't know. Must be that. I don't know. It's the weather.
Huh.
Our Darcy's on here, Minnesota. Yay.
I've never met a Minnesotan I didn't like.
And then Beth Doherty, I think, is from
Exactly.
is from Minnesota. So yeah.
I
And
gotta
I
say the
thought
same thing. I don't think I've
Pam,
ever met a bad Minnesota.
I don't know if you know Gabe, Pam Klinger Horn. She does a lot of reviews. She's out and she works for, she's in Minnesota, but she does a lot of book reviews, and her and I become friends. Social, we see each other at like Winter Institute and things like that. And she's just, yeah, just very nice, very good people. All right. Not to say that us Californians aren't so bad, but
Oh, Beth knows Pam.
Oh, isn't she fantastic? I love her. She is, talk about somebody that reads. Oh my God, I don't know how that woman reads as much as she does.
Yeah.
It's a little frightening. She reads a lot. I thought I read a lot, but not even close.
I know, I'm always surprised when somebody reads more than I do. But
I
don't read
know.
like I used to.
Yeah. I'm like,
Either,
what the
but-
heck? Although I slowed my reading down because I was forgetting endings and it was really bothering me. Because I would read a book and somebody would go, what about that ending? And I'd go, what are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
It's already on to the next book by the time I digested that ending, right? Yeah, I know.
It's like I'm reading so fast, and then it's like, did that really happen? Did they get shot at everything? I don't remember. Because somebody was okay. I was with somebody that was talking about Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. And they were talking about how the main character, I guess I shouldn't give this away.
Don't give it
but
away.
Don't give it away, but something happens to the main character at the end. And I was just like, I don't remember that.
What you talking about, Willis? You know, we saw what's her name, Winterbone, the movie.
Yeah.
We read, back in the day. Did we get a DVD? I don't remember. We saw it somewhere, and it was like we got to the end, and we were like, "The hell I just happened." Wow, that was like the worst movie. And so we're talking to somebody, and they were mentioning a couple of scenes, and we were like,
What?
We didn't have that. So there was something happened to our movie that just like chunked the whole chunk of the movie out.
Somebody edited it for you.
Heavily edited. We're just
Yeah.
like, no wonder it sucked so bad because
Yeah.
there's a whole like
Whole
EP
chunk of it. Yeah. You skipped like this whole middle portion of the movie. Yeah.
They're like
No,
on the boat in the water.
Yeah, I just realized that I was reading too fast and nothing was sinking in. So I'm slowed down a little bit. So anyways. All right, let's go lightning round.
Oh, lightning round, you said? Oh.
Well, you don't have to be lightning round.
This will be lightning because this is Chita Moreno.
Yep.
Long awaited memoir from Chita, screen legend, stage legend. She's worked with everybody from Leonard Bernstein, Arthur Lawrence, Stephen Sondheim, Bob Fosse, Jerome Robbins, Hal Prince, Liza Minnelli, Sammy Davis, Shirley MacLaine. She's done movies. She's danced on stage. She's acted on stage. She is the what was The Visit? She had a really which was a play. She had a real powerful performance in that. Aside from her dancing and stuff, but 3-time Tony Award winner, Latina. She was born Dolores Conchita Figueroa del Rivero. She's a landmark figure in show business, and she's somebody who looks great, still sharp as a tack. And West Side Story, which is what really kind of broke her out, was a long time ago, like 7 years ago now. So really excited. I think there are a lot of fans out there. I think it may be an older audience, but perhaps not. We got a nice blurb from Lin-Manuel Miranda, nice quote there. So he's bringing her a little bit to the forefront. So we're excited. I think it's been a fun publication.
Oh yeah, that was really good, and I love highlighting those actors and actresses. That was such a good movie.
Well deserved.
Yep. Okay, Amanda, you got something for us?
Yeah. Here's I just got a hold of this, so I need to really dive in, but I can already tell. So there are a lot of books like this. Here's Built to Move, the 10 Essential Habits to Help You Move Freely and Live Fully. There are a lot of books about how to take care of your body. But this one, it seems way more approachable and pragmatic for someone like me who isn't really very, very in shape and needs to have a gentle approach when it comes to thinking more about mobility and taking care of one's body. So it's the authors have have worked with Olympians, pro athletes, Navy SEALs, and they have come up with this simple formula for mobility maintenance. And they have, so there are some pictures, some simple pictures here, and these are all things you can do in your home. Super easy, practical, and yeah, also some tips about like nutrition and sleep and breathing, and written for exercisers and non-exercisers alike. So this is a book for someone who wants to kind of have a start on being better to themselves, to their flesh prison, but want a nice simple entry. So Built to Move.
Jill on here just said she just bought it.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And I think that because what I've been at, and Amanda, as you get older, you'll start thinking about this more too. Gabe, you and I are kind of close to the same age. When I go to like an airport or something and I see people that need like a lot of assistance, it's like that really makes you feel like, I'm talking about older people. I'm not, just like as you get older, it's just like, man, staying mobile and being able to walk, and just like you want to be able to take care of, we take it for granted and we want to be able to maintain it. So I think that that's a really good suggestion. Okay, I am going to tell you about something that this is what I'm currently reading. And so unfortunately it's not out until September, but it's so good. And I think some of you are going to be very excited that there's a new book coming from Daniel Mason, who wrote The Piano Tuner and The Winter Soldier.
Oh, wow.
He was a Pulitzer
Wow, look at that
finalist.
cover.
Is that a great cover? It's such a good cover.
I love that.
P51.
What's that?
P51.
Oh, that last cat.
Yeah, that's not what this is, but anyways.
No.
But this is about, it takes place in Massachusetts, and it's about this one house in Massachusetts, but the occupants of it over the span of like 200 years or more. It's really good what this, and he's just such a good author. He just is so good. So I'm only about 100 pages in, but so much has already happened in 100 pages, and it's so good. And I think somebody described it as a thinking person's book, because it does make you, it just doesn't come at you like a straight narrative. But it's really good. So something to look forward to for September.
Did you read his last one? A Registry of My Passage Upon the Earth? It was short stories.
Did you?
No, I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
But
I'm not familiar with him at all.
Yeah, Winter Soldier is really good. So for those of you that if you want to read something by Daniel Mason, well, he was a finalist for the Piano Tuner, so obviously that's a good one. But if you want to read something that is out now, you could read The Winter Soldier in anticipation of The North Woods, which is so good. All right, well, we were able to, just because there's just three of us doesn't mean we don't have a lot to say. What should have only been about 20 minutes turned into 40. So
we got books.
We got
any
books.
Any events you want to talk about, Julie?
Let's see. Oh, well, there's no, so people who watch us virtually, we don't have a lot of virtual events coming up right now. So sorry about that, because I know a lot of people are that watch this are watching it because it's virtual. But if you're in San Diego, tomorrow is Gretchen Rubin, the Life in 5 Sentences. Next month, we got T. Jefferson Parker coming in on Wednesday. A couple weeks, we've got Andrew McCarthy from our 80s boyfriend's coming.
Your boyfriend.
Our boyfriend. Our 80s boyfriend's coming. So that's gonna be fun. He's gonna be down in at USD. We got so many authors that were taken down to USD in June. We've got, I think we're starting with Abraham Verghese with Covenant of Water. Then we're going to Lisa C. and Luis Urrea and Isabel Allende. So that is a week from, that's a really good lineup that week. So
that's just 1 week?
That's in 1 week.
Wow.
That's in 1 week.
Wow.
It's like the 5th, 8th, 9th, 10th. It's just like, I have a hard time with the no word.
I mean, you can't say no to those people. That's like a murderer's row right there. Good gosh.
I know. How do you say no to any of those? You just like
I don't
you
want to
just
eat
go,
Gacy. Yeah,
"Yeah,
he's
forget
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have a little full schedule. I'm sorry, I can't host Isabella and It's
Yeah.
like I don't think that's happening. So it's gonna be a really good week. So lots of good stuff. So thanks, Amanda, for asking that. So all right, everybody, happy reading. Hope you all enjoy a good spring week, and we will see y'all next week. So bye.
Bye-bye.